So hello everyone. So our today's topic is exception handling in Java. So exception handling, it is the one of the most effective means to handle the runtime error. So that the regular flow of an application can be preserved. So the Java exception handling is a mechanism which can handle the runtime error such as class not found, then exception, then SQL exception, etc. So exception is an unwanted, unexpected event which occurs in the execution of programming. So that means runtime that disrupted the normal flow of a program. So program instructions is called as exception. So exception can be catch and handled by the program when an exception occurs with a method. So it creates objects. So these objects is called as exception objects. So it contains informations about the exception such as name, description, and exception of the states of a program. When an exception occurs, the exception is thrown in it. So majorly there are some reasons of exception occurs can be invalid user input, then device failure, then loss of network, then code error, or opening unavailable file. So these were the some reasons where exception can be occurs. While error represents the irrecoverable conditions such as JVM machine, JVM, JVM running out of memory, then memory leakage, stack overflow, etc. So these errors are usually beyond the control of programmers. So we should not try to handle the errors. So let's discuss the one of the important part which is different between error and exception. That means that is follows. So first of all, error. So error, it is the indicates a series of problems that a reasonable application should not to be catch. Then exception. So it indicates the condition that reasonable application might try to catch. Then basically types of exception. Then Java defines the several types of exception that relate to the various class libraries. So first one is built-in exception and second one is user-defined exception. So in built-in exception there are two types: checked exception and unchecked exception. So first of all we will discuss the built-in exception. So in this exception, the exceptions that are available in Java libraries, while these exceptions are suitable to explain the certain error situations. So first of all, in that we will discuss about the checked exception. So in this, it also called as compile time exception because these exceptions are checked at the compile time by the compiler. Then unchecked exception. So in this exception, it is just not the opposite of a check exception, but the compiler will not check this exception of a compile time. So in such words, if a programmer throws an exception or unchecked exception, and even if we didn't handle or declare it, it will the program would not give a compilation error. The next one is user-defined exception. So in this, sometimes built-in exception in Java are not available to describe a certain situation. So in this situation, user can create an exception which is called as user-defined exception. So these were the difference between exception, built-in exception and user-defined exception. Then advantages of exception is it can be used to provide the user-defined and built-in exception as per our requirement handling. So it is where the all about the exception handling in the Java. So thank you.